OK, let's take in some of the day's developments with Mohamad Elmasry, Professor of Media Studies at the Doha Institute for Graduate Studies. He's here with me in the studio. So, Mohamad, we now have this statement from the family of Ayşenur Ezgi, the dual US-Turkish national, demanding that the White House approve an independent inquiry into her death. I mean, how duty-bound now is the US to do something, to seriously look into how she died?
I thought it was an interesting statement. They're clearly trying to put pressure on the U.S. as if to say, look, if you're not going to care about the Gazans that are being killed or the Palestinians that are being killed by the hundreds in the West Bank even, well, here's an American who was killed. Is the U.S. duty-bound? I think they are duty-bound. But they were also duty-bound when Shireen Abu Akleh was killed 2 years ago. They were duty-bound when Rachel Corrie was killed 21 years ago. But the United States continues to sort of give Israel a pass, right? The main reason why Israel proceeds with impunity is because of the United States. So I think we have to recognize that. There was a really interesting investigation done by The Guardian not long ago regarding the Leahy law, which Rachel Corrie's parents just mentioned in that last interview you just ran. And what that investigation showed is that the U.S. has come up with specific mechanisms just for Israel so that basically the U.S. can allow Israel to get around the Leahy laws. In other words, the U.S. has worked out a system through which Israel is not accountable to the Leahy law. And that's kind of the environment.
Would you
in
mind
which
just sort of
we're
explaining
working.
briefly what the Leahy law is?
Yeah, so the Leahy law is a law it's named after a former American senator, and basically the United States is not allowed to send weapons to a belligerent government, to a government or a military that is carrying out human rights abuses. And in this particular case, we have overwhelming documentary evidence that Israel is not only committing human rights abuses in Gaza during this current war, but that it has been carrying out abuses against the Palestinians for many, many years in Gaza and in the West Bank. But as I said, in this Guardian investigation, which I would encourage people to look up, they located 3 specific mechanisms that were developed just for Israel so that the United States does not have to apply its own law.
Just to reiterate, of course, Ayşenur Ezgi was a US-Turkish national, dual national. Interesting that President Erdogan of Turkey has come out very, very quickly demanding a full legal investigation for a prosecution to take place if necessary. I mean, how much of a political mess, really, or challenge is this for the United States that one of their NATO allies, President Erdogan, is coming out decisively saying that more should be done about this?
Well, I mean, certainly the United States looks really bad in the court of world opinion, right? But the United States has looked bad. There's an ongoing genocide case. The United States has been blocking ceasefire resolutions at the United Nations. They've been condemned. But the United States doesn't really care. So long as the citizenry doesn't care, then there's no incentive for the U.S. Political elite to care. There is a minority of Americans who care deeply about this issue, about the issue of Palestine, but they're not, as of yet, enough to make a serious difference. And so long as the political calculus is such that it is more advantageous for U.S. politicians to continue to prop up Israel, then that's what they're going to do.
All right, Mohamad, good to hear your thoughts as always. Mohamad Elmasry there.